Hello everyone, my name is Crucified and welcome to my top 5 junglers for patch 4.20. I'd just like to thank a user named WhiteBoyVic for requesting a best junglers for 4.18. However, 4.18 is already out, so I decided to do it for patch 4.20. So as you all know, this patch has introduced a lot of new changes to the jungle, including new items, new camps, and Dragon and Baron changes. With all these changes comes a new era of junglers. Basically, all of the old junglers have been kicked out, and we have a new version of the dominant champions. Keep in mind that these are guidelines. They're not to be used as a 100% win guarantee. If you enjoy playing a champion and you are good with them, do not switch to one of these champions because they are more likely to be banned and you are more likely to be worse at them than the current champion that you main or whichever you enjoy playing most. So before we get into this, I'd just like to let you guys know about my Twitter, my Twitch, and my YouTube channel that if you haven't subscribed to it yet. I will soon be streaming on Twitch. I sometimes post on Twitter. It's not really my most active thing, but if once I start getting followers, I will start posting more. So without further ado, let's get into the top 5 junglers for patch 4.20. Coming in at number 5, we have Rengar. Rengar has been a dominant jungler even in patch 4.18 because of his amazingly good clear. Like, his clear has not changed one bit in this new patch. Also with his pick potential, he can decide fates of the game. At level 6, once he gets his ultimate, he has incredible ganks. Like, they're almost uncomparable. Whenever you see a Rengar fly out of nowhere because he was invisible. He can do the new jungle in a full clear at level 1. I've tested this. It does require a little bit of canceling auto attacks from the creeps, but that's all you need to do. And you can also have the option to build him tanky or damage depending on what your team needs. His cons are that he really doesn't have all that much lane pressure without his ultimate unless they're extremely overextended. He also needs items, so once he gets his jungle item and his Yumu's, he should be pretty well good, but a few more items can help him one-shot squishies or possibly even tanks depending on how fed he is. And also, he has absolutely no escapes apart from his flash, ghosts like summoners, and your ultimate. And a new thing that I decided to put into this episode is the new builds. So the one that I recommend is either a Skirmisher's Saber or a Stalker's Blade into the Devourer. Coming in at number 4, we have Nunu. Nunu has also been a fairly dominant jungler in previous patches of last season actually. For his really good clear and his incredible buff control. That is what Nunu is supposed to do. He's also a very utility-based jungler with his attack speed and movement steroid on his Blood Boil, his E to slow, and his huge AoE ultimate. He's able to do a full clear level 1 because of his consume. It gives back health and basically has an extra smite. This allows him to clear Dragon faster. It allows him to secure Dragon and Baron. And Dragon and Baron are really important on this new map. Like, they really emphasize the buffs on them. So Nunu would be really good if you're just trying to keep control of the camps. The issues with Nunu is that he really doesn't have all that much lane pressure. He can pretty much Blood Boil into the lane E to slow them, and that's almost all he can do. He might be able to ult depending on if they have no escapes, and that's basically all he can do. And he also can't carry games single-handedly because generally you want to build him full tank, because if you build him damagey, yes, his E does have a 1-to-1 ratio on AP, but you are more useful as a tank. And the build that I would recommend would either be a Rangers so that you can clear, or a Stalker so that you have an extra slow into the Juggernaut enchantment. Coming in at number 3, here's someone that I actually did not think that I would see, but after playing Pantheon on the new patch, I actually found that he is pretty good. He has a decent clear, and his damage potential at level 3 is incredible with his W, Q, and E, like that full combo does so much to the enemy. Like it can almost one-shot the top laner as soon as you gank. You can also do a full clear level 1 if you're careful, mostly because of his shield passive. It really does help out. And at level 6, he gets his global ult. I put that in quotations because it's not really global, but it is at the same time. Like, it's a really long distance. And another thing is that he's able to kill Dragon early with his shield passive and his consistent damage with low cooldowns. His issues are that he's actually quite squishy until Randwin's. Like, basically, you have to build your jungle item with its enchantment into a brutalizer or whatever you're building that into a Last Whisper, and then you can finally get your Randwin's. Unless you are quite behind, then you might as well get your Randwin's before your Last Whisper. But you need at least one damage item for him to be able to be effective. He also falls off around 40 minutes, give or take a few, because he doesn't scale all that well with items. He's much better early, and once people start getting tanky, he won't do as much damage. And also his ult isn't very useful without any form of follow-up. You can ult into the enemy team and stun and kill their AD carry, but if your team doesn't follow up, you're dead. There's no way you're getting out. And the build that I would recommend is the Skirmisher's Blade into the Warrior Enchantment. Coming in at number 2, we have Fiddlesticks. He's never really been a bad champion. He's been more or less of a sleeper champion, kind of like Rammus. For the reasons that he is really good is because he has an incredibly fast clear with his E and his W. He has amazing damage potential at level 6 because he can keep them trapped inside of his ultimate with his fear and his silence. He can stay in the jungle for hours, basically, it seems, if he can keep his mana up with the drain. He also has an ability to kill the dragon early because of his drain. He can keep sustaining. And his cons are that he does fall behind really easily if he gets invaded. If he doesn't get invaded and he is allowed to farm up well, he can single-handedly carry games. And another thing is that his ult also isn't very useful without any follow-up, because you can go in, and unless you have Zhonya's, you're going to die like almost instantly. And the build that I would recommend is either a Stalker's Blade or a Ranger's Trailblazer into the Magus enchantment, or Magus, whichever you would like to pronounce it as. And number 1, Warwick. This shouldn't be a surprise for most of you, as probably most of you guys have seen any type of jungling video, and they are always recommending Warwick. And honestly, I'm no different. He has an incredibly fast clear once you get the Skirmishers or Rangers, which is in the build that I would recommend. He has an amazing pick potential. He can lock down any champion for, I think, 5 seconds at level 6, which is an incredibly long time, plus doing damage to them. He has a self-sustaining Q, which also does a lot of damage to champions or monsters. He has an attack speed steroid, so he can take down monsters, dragons, barons, with all of his team much faster. His ultimate is really low cooldown. I'm pretty sure it's at level 3, it's 36 seconds or something along those lines. He snowballs really hard. If you get far ahead, you can just single-handedly carry games. And you can also build him pure tank or pure damage or hybrid. I prefer hybrid, but that's just personal opinion or preference. For his cons, his damage build falls off around 45 minutes because you just don't scale all that well with your pure auto attacks. He's also susceptible to early invades, so level 1 or 2, because you generally start with your W on Warwick, so he has almost no combat stats, except for his attack speed steroid. He's susceptible to early invade, which I already said that, so I really badly messed up on that. And also his Q is incredibly mana hungry. It can cost, I think, 100 mana at level 5, which is ridiculous. You'll constantly have to go back if you don't manage that, so I'd recommend you just auto attack. And the build that I would recommend is the Skirmishers or Rangers, depending on if you want to gank or farm into the Devourer. Thank you all for watching my top 5 junglers for patch 4.20. And I'd like you guys to check out my Twitter, my YouTube channel, and my Twitch account. All of them will be in the description, and all of the links will be at the end of this video. I thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.